Well, welcome for another talk around the narcissist playbook. And what we've seen is that the narcissist is motivated by this deep shame that they try to solve in all the wrong ways by getting an external world and people that will make them feel better about themselves, but really avoiding the internal healing work necessary to heal. And so as they come into relationships, they're incapable of a healthy relationship because they've shut down all the key elements that make healthy relationships possible. They're not able to connect, to love, to have empathy. And so relationships are set up to fail, but they tend to follow a cycle. And we've looked at what that cycle looks like. There's a love bombing phase where they try to win you, and then it's not real, it's an act. And once that they think they've got you, then they go to the next stage, which is they start to devalue you because they're not satisfied. So they're going to make it your fault. Once they get past that, then they go to the third phase, which is the discard phase. And the discard phase is it's time to get rid of you. But what I want you to see is that with narcissists, there's really two types of discard phases. There is a temporary discard where it looks like they're discarding you, but they're really just putting you on the bench. And they're going to come back around to you. Or there's a permanent discard, a final discard. And so today I want to look at the temporary discard phase. What it really is it's a way for the narcissist to really punish you, to really control you. They don't want to end the relationship. They just want to hurt you. They want to get you to a point of even greater surrender to them, desperation for them, willing to do anything for them. They want you to chase them, to beg them, to prove your loyalty to them. They want to keep you hooked in this trauma bond. And so this is kind of an extreme way of testing you, getting you desperate. But what I want you to understand is for the person who's been this temporary discard, it is traumatic. It surfaces all your deep wounds, all your deep insecurities. It creates a ton of confusion, but it reinforces the trauma bond because you go begging for some crumbs of love, for forgiveness, to do whatever they want. And then if they take you back, you get this huge rush of feeling in love again. We can make this work, but they're not able to make it work. And then they start to devalue you again and then discard you again. So what happens in this temporary discard is they discard you, but then they go to what we call the Hoover stage, like a vacuum, where they're going to try to suck you back in. And we're going to look at that today, all the methods they use for sucking you back in. But this discard phase, so you've been going through the devaluation stage, and then all of a sudden they discard you. So today we're going to look at a temporary discard. But what triggered that? And usually it's you ask them to make a compromise. You ask them to give as much as you give to them. You ask them for a bit of empathy or some honesty or to respect your boundaries. And all of a sudden they get rid of you. So you ask for something healthy. That caused them to want to get rid of you because you're beginning to realize this isn't a healthy relationship. You're beginning to want to move it to a healthy relationship. They don't care about a healthy relationship. They care about controlling you, about power. And so now it's time to get rid of you. If you're the victim of that, feels like this blindsided blow that leaves you just overwhelmed, confused, feeling guilty, feeling ashamed, filled with grief, filled with longing, filled with a sense of dread about the future. All of that takes the trauma of this relationship to the next level. That's what I want you to begin to see. So it's a very disorienting thing to be temporarily discarded. You don't understand for sure why the narcissist is discarding you when you just wanted a healthy relationship. And then you don't understand if he discarded you, why does the narcissist then want to come back and try again? And that gives you hope. And then you begin to see there's a repeat in a pattern here, and you don't know how to break that. You're looking for a solution. And so this is a very disorienting thing. So let me just make a couple comments. I think it's important to understand that a narcissist loves a fight, and they love to push your buttons. That feeds something in them. That gives them an energy. And so when they discard you, that's pushing your buttons. They're really lashing out in anger at you. They're baiting you. They're trying to get you to fight back. They're trying to incite you to shout at them. All of that. They're loving it. But then you come back and beg them to forgive you. You come back and beg them to love you. They're loving that. And so this temporary discard, it's like it takes you to a new level where you do things out of anger or out of longing to be loved. And the narcissist that's exactly what they're wanting. That's feeding that emptiness inside of them. So let me look at some of the hoovering tactics. Things that a narcissist, they've temporarily discarded you. You're not sure if it's permanent discard or temporary discard. You're hurting. You're confused. Part of you says this is done. This is not going to work. Part of you is still thinking maybe there's a way to save this. There's a way to make this work. And now they come in and they try to vacuum you back into the relationship. So here's some of their tactics. They will love bomb you all over again. But it's really important to understand that now the love bombing, we use a new term called dosing. And they will do just enough love bombing to avert a crisis, to avert you walking out on them, because they're afraid of being abandoned. And so they're not going to love bomb you totally like they did in the beginning for months and months. They're going to do it only long enough and just enough, the right dose, to get you to stop being mad at them, to stop insisting that you go for help, whatever. That's part of the game right now. So all of a sudden there's flowers again, affection, false promises, lots of charm, willingness to go to counseling, over-the-top declarations that we just have something, I can't live without you, you're my soulmate, long letters, heartfelt messages, unusually attentive to you, gifts, all kinds of different things. That's going to happen again to hoover you back in. And then fake remorse and empty promises. You're going to hear all kinds of apologies. Their behavior is not going to change in the long run, but they're going to say the right words to make you think they're truly sorry. And they're going to promise to get therapy, to do better, to never hurt you again. And it's going to sound so genuine, but there's no evidence in their behavior. It's words only. So they're going to say enough just to spark hope in you that they're willing to change. But it's all a word manipulation game. Then they're going to do crisis manipulation. So if you leave me, I am going to commit suicide. You're the only one that can save me, that can help me. I realize I'm messed up, so please don't leave me or I'm going to fall apart. Or if you leave me, I'm going to relapse into drugs and alcohol and my life will be ruined. And so they're creating a crisis and presenting you as the only one that can save them, to draw you back in. All of that is they're playing the victim. And so basically goes beyond that to, they've been so misunderstood all their life, so wronged, so abandoned growing up. Are you going to abandon me now? Are you going to be just like my parents and everybody else in my life? And then they're going to start to blame you for a lot of the relationship issues. If you'd only been more sensitive, if you had only been more considerate and giving to me. And it's a gaslighting thing that's beginning to happen again. And then they're going to appeal to your good nature and to your empathy. And that's, I only acted the way I did because I'm such a hurt person. And They're going to tell you these sob stories about stuff that's happened to you to once again get you to feel empathy for them and let them off the hook for their behavior, all a manipulation game. Then they're going to do a new type of triangulation. So they're going to get friends, family to come and talk to you. Why are you walking out on them? Why are you doing this to this person? And they're going to put pressure on you to forgive and to make up and to get back with them. Or they're going to mention possible new partners that they might be hooking up with, or new admirers that are reaching out to them to try to create jealousy in you. They're even going to use children to try and get you to go back to them. Children that, please don't leave daddy, please don't leave mommy. They're going to try to get a meeting with you with a family member as a go-between or a therapist as a go-between, but they've already got that family member or therapist biased to their point of view, and the whole point is not a mediation that's unbiased, it's to put pressure on you to go along with what they want. Then they're going to return to being this very charming, fun, funny, attentive person. And they're going to remind you of all the good times that you've had. They're going to totally forget the negative stuff. They're going to try to get you back to the fantasy, to the idealized relationship that you had in your mind in the beginning in the love bombing phase. So again, it's a manipulation of history, of the facts, of your relationship, and only focusing on the fake parts that were good. And then they're going to future fake. And they're going to paint a rosy picture of, I'm going to change. This is what our family's going to be like. This is what our relationship's going to be like. And it's a relationship that appears to have no problems, that's very stable, that's full of love. And then if none of those are working, they start to use the guilt and obligation. So you owe it to me for all that I've done for you, all I've put up with you, all that I've given to you financially, how I provided for you. You owe this to me. So they're going to use your shared history, the children, finances as leverage. That's key. It's all about leverage for them. And then they're going to go to, if you leave me, you're not just leaving me, you're abandoning the family. And they're just going to lay the guilt on. And they could use religious stuff. You're divorcing me. You're doing sin, wrong things. Every possible thing to amp up the sense of guilt and that you owe it to them, obligation. Then they can go to anger and intimidation and threats. So explosive rage comes out. Then they threaten that they are going to destroy you financially. They're going to take the kids from you. They are going to make your life a living hell. They are going to post stuff about you on Facebook, all your deepest secrets. So they're blackmailing you. There's all kinds of amping up threats and intimidation. And basically, they can go to the point where if I can't have you, then I'm going to make it so nobody will have you. You're going to be alone for the rest of your life because I will turn the world against you. Then there's what we call a silent Hoover. And so what they're doing there is they're not doing anything in your face. They're not texting you, nagging you, begging you, making false promises, none of that. Now they go to liking your social media posts, or they send you a vague text or a comment just thinking of you, or they accidentally run into you in the grocery store or on your way to work. So they're testing what they can get away with. They're testing, will you take the bait? Will you respond to them? Can I be more direct? So, key thing to understand, all of this hoovering, they make it sound like they want to repair the relationship, but they don't. It is not about genuine repair. It is about reestablishing control, getting you back to giving them all of your attention, energy, and positive emotions. That's all it's about. It is not about true love and a healthy relationship. So if they get to the point where they discard you, it's not about you. It's not because you're a terrible person. It's not because you've even done things wrong. It's because they are so empty inside that they're either bored or you're not providing enough fuel to their validation needs that they're starting to want to look for somebody else, or they're losing control over you. That's what it's about. They're trying to fill their emptiness the wrong way, and they're blaming you for their lack of happiness when they're the only reason for their lack of happiness. So if you are in this hoovering stage, please understand that. To go back to them is not going to be what they say it will be. It will not be this happy thing. It might be for a few days or weeks, but it's quickly going to descend back to them, devaluing you and discarding you again. Get out of the cycle. Get out of being drawn back in to the trauma bond. Get help to break that trauma bond.